Hello, in this lesson, we're going to cover queries in Roam. Now, we did cover this during the bulk of the course, and we used it a lot in the productivity section. And so you may have already learned most of this, but if you wanted to go a little bit deeper on it, I'm including this as well, which shows all of the query functionality in one place. Okay, I'm going to show off one of my favorite new features, which is queries. What queries allow you to do is pull in pages that have a similar set of attributes or similar set of tags on them. This is a great way to filter through your Roam database as it gets bigger and bigger. So I'm going to use my personal one for this since there's going to be more data for us to query. The structure for queries is pretty simple. You do the double curly brackets, I think that's a technical term, curly brackets, then type query colon, and you can do a really simple one. So we could just do query people, or I'll say query articles, and then hit enter. The syntax is pretty simple. So we can do query, and then you need another operator such as and or. So I'm going to do an and query first. So query and then we can put in two things that a page might be tagged with. So a good example here is articles. So let's say I want everything tagged as an article that is also tagged entrepreneurship. And then if I hit enter, all right, here's every article that I've saved that has both the tags entrepreneurship and articles on them. So if I wanted to really quickly find all of my entrepreneurship articles, then this would be a really great way to do it. Or let's say that I want to find all of my articles about coronavirus. Ooh, spooky. Okay, so I've only got one that's tagged as an article on coronavirus, so maybe I want to go get more, or maybe I want to find all of my prepping articles because that might be more relevant. We could also take this and we could change it from, say, prepping to added. So this is the tag that I use for everything that I've added to one of my Monday Medley newsletters. And I can say, okay, cool, here's everything that I've added to a past newsletter. Or if I want to get specific, I could say every article that I added to Medley 196, which is the one that I used for the newsletter demo. And okay, here's all of the articles that were included in that. You can also use this for other kinds of operators. So I used and here, but let's do or. And we could say or, so articles is less important. Now I want to see everything that has prepping or coronavirus. And I'm going to delete this medley tag. Okay. So now I've got every single time that either coronavirus or prepping was tagged. And if I wanted to, I could change it. So here, for example, this one doesn't have the word articles. So I need to remember to add that tag to be a little bit better about this. Bug out bags. This one also needs an article tag. But anyway, this is pretty much everything that has talked about either prepping or the coronavirus. So I could go through all of this pretty quickly. Or maybe I want to get a little more complicated. So instead of query, or prepping coronavirus, I'm going to start with an or query, I'm going to start with an and query. So I'm going to say and articles, but then I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put an or inside the and, if that makes sense. So what this is doing is it's saying all articles or everything that's tagged articles and either prepping or coronavirus. Okay, so for right now, that's still just this one for some reason, but let's see here. Yeah, so I'll do and articles, and then the second clause of the and is prepping or coronavirus. And so now it's going to pull in all of those articles. All right, cool. So yeah, this is a really neat way to pull in a lot of parts of your Roam database at once. It's really good if you're like losing things. As a another use case, I might pull in all of my active projects or all of my active goals, or I could even pull in all of my working articles. So for example, let's do another query where I'll start with an and this will be working articles that are in progress. Sorry. Working articles that are active, which is what I use for in progress. All right, cool. Here's all of the working articles that I am working on. Or maybe I don't want the active ones. I want the someday maybe articles. So let's look at all those. Cool. This just takes out a lot of the steps of manually organizing things. So in some videos, you might see a manual organization like a projects list, right? So if we go here and we look at the projects list from the course, I had it manually written out like this. But instead of doing it this way, what we can actually do is we could say, okay, tags projects. And instead of having the status up here, this is the one issue with queries. You can't have status on separate lines, but we could put the in progress down here as well. And as long as we've got that on all three of them, all right, so go here, tags projects in progress. And then this one, we're just going to add it here as well. Now that you've got these on all of them, instead of manually listing your projects like this, we can just do a new query. We can say query and projects in progress. And then there they all are. So obviously this takes up a bit more space than the way I showed you before. I'm just going to make a note here, alternative structure. Yeah, so this takes a bit more space. As you can see, like the vertical space is a lot greater, but it's nice because then it auto updates. You don't need to keep manually going back and doing this. So that's a lot of the power of queries. So play around with them, see what else you come up with, and see how you can apply them to some of the other ideas in the course.